Brilliant. Okay, so just get back to the right page and put us on gallery view. There we go. We are live on Facebook, so we're just going to share to start with. Just bear with us. Yes, we are live. Wonderful. Come on, brain. There we go. Share to a group. Yep, I think that will do. Wonderful. Hi, Jeanette, lovely. Hi, Angel. Okay, so this is Love Speaks Love. I'm Denise, the host, and my guest this week is the beautiful Sally Claridge.
Hi, Denise. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to be here.
And Sally is an amazing being. We only connected recently, but it was like we'd known each other forever.
It was. It really was.
So yeah, I'll let you afterwards, after we do the little heart connect, I'll let you say a little bit more about yourself. But I know you do some amazing healing work and channeling work as well. And I have experienced that fairly recently when I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a 24-hour extravaganza to raise money for some animal charities. Yeah. And that's where we first connected. And it was really beautiful what you shared, and I could feel the energy of it really strongly. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting. And maybe as well, if you want to do any, I didn't ask you about that, but if you want to do any channeling or bring anything through, you know, the opportunity's there for that as well. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Thank you.
So I usually just start off by doing a little heart connect. So let's just take a few long and slow deep breaths, bringing our awareness into our heart space, in the center of our chest. Breathing in love, breathing out love. And connecting our hearts together, so that's myself and Sally and everyone watching us live, everyone who will be watching on the replay, and on YouTube. So sending love from our hearts to all hearts, and visualizing a beautiful web of golden light and love being created around the planet. As we send love into that web, as it weaves its way around the globe. And the energy from this is going deep down, all the way down to the heart of Gaia. And as we connect our hearts to the heart of Gaia and to the crystalline grids and the New Earth templates, feeling the love from Gaia's heart to ours, feeling her beautiful, supporting, nurturing, and anchoring energy. And sending love from our hearts to the heart of the sun, the galactic sun and the central sun. And feeling that heart-to-heart connection with source, creator energy. And while we're in this beautiful heart space, let us just say to our hearts, I love you. I love you. I love you. And knowing that the resonance from that energy goes to all hearts on the planet. All hearts beating as one. And again, breathing deeply. And if your eyes are closed, just opening them whenever you're ready.
That was lovely.
I didn't want to come back. It was like, oh
No.
my eyes, no, can I not just do the show like this?
Yeah, it was beautiful. And is there a bird singing where you are? Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if that would come through. Yeah, there's always a blackbird. It might even be on the roof, actually. I can't see it. Sometimes it does fly up there. Yeah, I love the song of a blackbird.
Oh, it's gorgeous coming through when we were in our hearts. Just lovely. Thank you, Denise.
So, Sally, what to ask you first? What brought you, how to phrase this question? I'd like you to tell me a bit of your journey and your journey to where you are now and how you came to be doing what you're doing.
Okay.
So it's kind of a bit of your awakening journey, whatever of that you want to share.
Sure. So, yeah, quite a long one. I suppose if I start the very beginning was way back in 2001 when I was still working for the airlines and felt there had to be more to life, felt there had to be something more than going to work and coming home again. And I had actually just lost my father a couple of years before, and I had some health issues going on that the medical profession just weren't, that I wasn't finding any resolution with them. And eventually a friend said, oh, why don't you try reflexology? And I said, oh, wow, what's that? Took myself off to the local gym where I found a reflexologist, and that opened my eyes to healing, and it opened my heart to healing and my body to healing. And literally within the synchronicity after that was just incredible, because I remember lying on the sofa with jet lag and watching, do you remember Richard and Judy, who used to have the This Morning program in the UK? And this segment came on about a woman who'd set up her own reflexology practice as a holistic practitioner. And it was like this light bulb went off above my head, and it was like, ding, I've got to learn reflexology. I enjoyed it. It helped me. My body is recovering, and that was the start of it. And then fast forward a good few years, I was on a reflexology course, a 5-day course, and I had this massive awakening, full-blown spiritual awakening. The tears, everything shifting and floating and not being in my body. And it was an incredible, terrifying, exciting couple of days that lasted. And the journey has just kept deepening and deepening from that. And I always seem to just go with the flow. So if I'm guided to something, I go for it and I allow it to happen. And this is where the experiences really come in to support us, but also to sometimes challenge us, to open us up and to help us really grow out of who we've conditioned into being and into our truth. So, you know, coming from the background in the airlines into holistic therapies, I also was a Reiki master teacher, still am, but I just don't really practice it now, that I focus on the channeling. And it really just grew from there. And so I've been working with this collective for about 10 years now, but only publicly for about 5.
When did all the reflexology, how long ago was that? What's
That was 2001.
Right, okay.
So 20-ish.
Yeah.
19, 20 years ago. Yeah.
So it was 10 years really before you then started channeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And were you still working for the airline?
Yes, I was, because but I went part-time, so I sort of managed to cut back the hours and get the part-time contracts, and it was becoming a case, well, the airline's supporting me while I'm doing all this holistic work and healing work and self-discovery, but my focus soon went from airlines to holistic healing. It was just such a strong pull. Such a strong pull, and the thing is, once you start, you never stop. You never stop discovering yourself or growing and expanding and learning, which is really amazing. I love it, absolutely love it.
So tell me, actually, before I ask that, I think that's really interesting that it was reflexology that you had, and because that's a pretty big experience as well. From I guess you were in amongst a group of people if you were on a course, but that's a huge experience to really open up in that way that you did.
Yes.
And it feels like you were just waiting. It was like it was like your body was just dying to open up.
Yeah.
And just did that at the first opportunity.
It did it, and it was like I popped. I popped, and I literally cried for 2 days, and I didn't know what the crying was for, but it just didn't stop. And it was such a massive release. And back then I didn't have much spiritual awareness. I didn't have that self-awareness or the knowledge or background, and I hadn't started really the true spiritual journey. So it was a bit unnerving. And then, when I started sort of like feeling out of body, and it was almost as if I was looking out of somebody else's eyes, and I couldn't hold the pen, I couldn't focus. It was like nothing was solid. And it was full on. And when it cleared, I'd obviously sort of like grounded and found the new balance and new alignment. And I remember going out, I had to buy a skirt. That was the first thing, because I was a bit of a tomboy. And it was like, I need to wear a skirt. I feel different. I need to wear a skirt. And it was just mad, but it was so perfect. It was so perfect. And yeah, I'll never forget that. And I'm so grateful for that experience, because I think when you've been through a big awakening, it allows you to hold space for other people, because I think unless you've been through some sort of experience yourself, you've got no idea of what it actually feels like to have these massive shifts and awakenings, because your whole life is turned around just like that. You go in one person and you come out another.
Yeah, and like walking into a different world when you come out as well. It's kind of, everything's brighter, colours are different.
Yes, yeah.
And I guess you start to see the world in a completely different light as well. You see it differently.
You see it differently, but you feel different, and your reactions to your old familiar patterns, or the stuff maybe that you used to like, is like, it's different because the vibration within you has shifted. So you've literally jumped lanes into a different vibrational state. And yeah, so life changes, and there's no going back. But it, yeah, no going back. Not that well, sometimes you think, oh my God, when you're going through these great big epiphanies or physical healings or emotional healings, you think, oh my God, why can't I just be normal? But actually, we don't want to be normal. Nobody wants to be normal. We just want to be ourselves. And
I think once your eyes are open, you can't really close them again.
No, there's no closing. And and the universe makes sure to support you, but also to keep your eyes open. There's always something there, So even on the down days, or the days where you're having self-doubt, or you're feeling bad about yourself, or you're struggling at work, or you've got family issues going on, the universe, I've always found, will show you something beautiful, or it'll bring in a synchronicity, or that white feather, you know, that famous white feather will appear, or a friend will phone out of the blue. The universe always supports us. But we need to still stay open to receiving that and seeing that through the ups and downs of life. But yes, no going back. And I'm certainly glad I'm not going back to the old Sally, as it were.
And even whenever anything happens in your world, you look at that through different eyes as well. Instead of it being drama or whatever, it's like, okay, this is going on.
Yes. Yeah.
What's this about? You know, why is this appearing in my world? Why have I created this? What am I learning from this? Or what is it showing me about myself? Getting to know myself deeper? Or is it parts of myself that need more loving? And it's interesting that I think sometimes we believe certain things on our journey, certain things are presented in the spiritual world that get you to a certain point, and then they no longer apply. And then you kind of get a bit deeper, and it's like, not that those things were wrong, but it's not necessarily your truth anymore. It doesn't really apply anymore. Or you get to a deeper truth.
That's it. And always through that journey, the tribe keeps coming in. So as we grow and as we shift, we move, you know, and we innately call in the people that are on the same journey, or in the same vibe, or in the same lane, or moving through those same experiences. And I think it's beautiful. And we also get to see the bigger picture. So it's also not just about our own experience, it's about the bigger picture of what's happening with humanity, or what's going on in the world, or what's happening energetically or spiritually. So we get to see our tiny part of it, our tiny contribution into the collective, but from a bigger place of awareness. But also we don't get too caught up in it. We can be the observer of it, as well as move through the experience of it. And I think that self-mastery is absolutely key to riding the roller coasters that we're all going through at the moment. Is to be the observer, to move through it, but to be the observer at the same time, and to still feel it, but to not have it overwhelm or, you know, upset the apple cart, you know. So it's beautiful growth.
And I think the observer aspect helps to bring that neutrality in as well, when it's not just that you're totally in the middle of this, but you're kind of in a way over there looking at yourself doing it. It helps to bring that neutrality in. And I'm just being prompted, there was something that I read on a friend's post of something that she does in relation to her young son. So sometimes when you know that you're going to speak to someone, or when you know that you could not be in that space of neutrality, what she does is visualizes the car gear going into neutral. And I really like that, because that gives me a visual to be like, yeah, okay. And then if you feel yourself flipping out of that neutrality, just imagining that gear stick again.
That's great. That's so easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like a practical physical movement, and that takes you out of that state. Because I find if I get too caught up in something, the best thing for me to do is move my body. So to go for a walk, or to go out, be with some trees, or connect with Mother Nature. But the more you sit there, the less the energy can start to shift and move, and you get more and more caught up in your own rabbit hole or your own spiral. So even just visualizing moving that gear and coming into neutral, that's brilliant. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I loved that, and it's so simple as well.
Yeah.
And what you were saying before about you know, friends often change. Once we start on this journey, we're not necessarily in resonance with the people that we were in resonance with before, because our frequency's changed, our resonance has changed. And I think some people can find that quite challenging at the start of their awakening journey, that so many things drop away.
Yes.
You know, work that you do can change, but especially the friends. I think that can be quite a challenge for people to let go of those relationships. But when you do that, it then creates the space for those new beings that you're much more in resonance with to come in.
Yeah, because I think we're brought up to, especially women, I don't know about you, but I was brought up to be nice and to be the good girl, where you have to be liked by everyone and everyone is your friend, and you know, you have to really make an effort for that to be the reality. And then when you realize that actually, gosh, no, that just doesn't feel comfortable anymore, or the friendship's not enjoyable, or it just doesn't feel the balance and the harmony that it used to have. And you know, before, I'm sure so many of us would have like, all right, yes, of course we'll still meet up for coffee, or we'll still do this and we'll still do that, because that's what you did, because your friends were your friends. Whereas now, I think especially women, were becoming a lot more self-aware and a lot more empowered through our hearts. And we're saying, actually, no, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel right. And we're more comfortable with saying that. And that allows us to say no with love, but to be able to move forward and open up that space for the new to come through. So it is challenging to let go of friends, for sure. But I think when we hold ourselves in our hearts, that is the key. The being in our hearts is key to everything. And I'm not sure if Denise has frozen. Oh, she's gone. Well, I'll just keep going. I'll keep going and hopefully she'll come back in. I'll look and see if there's any comments and see if anybody's. I'll say hello to you. Oops, now I've got that going. Oh, she's gone. Okay, right. Let me see if I can find any of you to say hello to. Hold on. Okay. Yes, Denise is saying I've frozen, be back soon. Hello, Dawn. Dawn Richards, hello, lovely. Dawn's saying I want to be kind and compassionate, and sometimes I just need to get angry. You know, we all do. You know, at the end of the day, we're human. You know, we are these divine, incredible beings of love and of light, but we're still human, and anger is part of that. But being aware of that anger and allowing ourselves to express it and to be it, but also allowing it to move through us is so powerful, really powerful. So thank you for sharing that, Dawn. Thank you. Okay, Denise is just resetting the Wi-Fi. Oh, James Flanagan. So what beings do you channel, Sally? I work with a collective conscious group who I call them channeling love, because that's how it feels when their energy comes in. And believe you me, I've asked them many a time way back in the beginning, oh, what's your name? Where'd you come from? And every time the feelings that I get back is that the name is not important. What's important is the energy that they bring through, is the experience that they bring through. And a lot of their channeling, well, it's more a healing channel than a spoken channel, although they do share spoken guidance and light language, but their work is very much about the heart energy and freeing us up to bring us back into our hearts and to bring us back into our truth. So I always say that we have to be open to the unknown. We have to be open to discovering ourselves beyond our labels, beyond names, and also, you know, beyond ego as well, and expectations. Because as soon as, if I was to say, okay, they're Pleiadian, it's a Pleiadian collective, we automatically jump into our assumptions. Oh, hang on a sec. Denise, hi, I'm still talking. Oh my God, this is hilarious. Right, I'm gonna hang up, I don't know what that's about. Oh my goodness. She's saying you're doing great. So I'll carry on talking just about the star beings as until Denise gets back to us. But yeah, so the star beings, if I was to say they're from the Pleiades, or they're I don't know, Larian or anything, that automatically brings in an assumption and an expectation of labels, what they're going to receive, how they're going to share, and how their energy is going to feel. So I have completely honored the star beings' wishes for no labels or names to be attached. And actually it frees us up so much. It frees us up to be completely in our hearts and to open without expectations and open up into the unknown, open up into an experience of love, open up into an energy that takes us beyond our beliefs and our minds. And quite often people have said that being in the star being's energy takes them beyond words, and it gives you the opportunity for your body to heal. And people have said, you know, they've moved through instantaneous physical healings, emotional breakthroughs, spiritual awakenings. And it's because we've got no expectation or attachment of how the energy is going to be experienced. But we've got to be willing to go there. And Denise, welcome back.
For the Wi-Fi.
You'd think it'd be my internet going down, seeing as we're up in the mountains.
Yeah, no idea what happened. It's usually really steady. And I wasn't sure if the Zoom would carry on, because it looked like the live had stopped as well. Like it had error loading with that as well. So I thought, oh, everything's frozen. But no, you're still going. You did great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that was going to be my next question. So
yes. So I think I sort of covered who the star beings are.
So I missed that bit actually about who the star beings are.
Quick response.
Yeah, just give me a...
Yeah, so when they come through, the energy is just so incredibly all loving and all its embodiment of love. And you can't, it's almost like you can't see past it, you can't feel past it, because that's all it is. And I did in the beginning reach out and sort of say, well, who are you? Where are you from? What's this all about? And the sensation and the sort of message was always, it's not important. It's not important, the name, the label, the destination, the planet, the constellation, because that immediately takes us back into our minds. And as soon as we go back into our minds, we're out of our hearts, and we've maybe stepped out of a beautiful experience that was just beginning to happen, because we've thought, oh, well, they're Pleiadian, so this, that, and the other. Yeah. So I am very, very strong about this. And many people have said, oh, I think they're this, or I think they're that, and this and that and the other. So I've had everything, but it always comes back to the energy. It always comes back to love. And you know, we as humans, I don't think we even begin to understand the power and the magnitude, the beauty and the infinity of love. We've got our love word, and we say, we love you, I love this, I love that. But that is not love. Love for me is the life force and the energy that we are manifest in this beautiful world. And that just simply cannot be limited or confined to a label. So yeah.
So when you connect with them, it's a collective. It's a collective group.
Yes.
Does it? This you might not even be able to answer this, but does it always? I guess it won't always feel the same. I guess my question is it always the same beings? And you probably wouldn't know that because you're tuning into the collective as well.
It's kind of like it's the same but different.
Yeah.
So I go through the same process to connect, and the energy comes through. But within that, there's always something slightly shifting and moving. It's never exactly the same.
Yeah.
Never. And even when they've spoken, there's a different tone or level of voice, or I can't think of the word, not incantation, but just the way that they pronounce words, that has changed slightly. And actually, just in the last couple of weeks, a much gentler presence has come through, spoken voice, much more feminine. Before it was very strong and out there, and if you want to put a gender on it, it would have been more masculine. And the voice that is coming through is more feminine now. But again, their message is always about staying in your heart, coming back to love. It's not a case of, well, tomorrow you're going to have to leave your job and move house. You know, that is not what they are about at all.
Yeah.
So yes, it's the same but different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does, absolutely. And I compare it to when I'm doing a treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So I was attuned to Reiki as well, but I think most of us that get attuned, what happens when you receive the Reiki attunement, it means that you're connected to that energy, but the energy isn't always the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different for each person as well. There's a particular frequency that will come through.
Yes.
And, you know, often, and with the light languages as well, when I bring light language forward, it feels like it's many frequencies coming through at the same time. And I often describe it as there may be one that's more at the forefront, but I can feel that it's a collective. But that one at the forefront, the energy at the forefront is often changing. Yes. As well. So I know that it's different when I bring the activations through for myself. It's not always the same, but neither is it the same when I bring it through for anyone else either. So yeah, I really get what you're saying. It feels very similar to that. Mm-hmm.
And I think we also have to let go and surrender into what comes through, because we're just the channel. We're not the guide. We're not the leader. We're not, you know, I always see myself as like the bridge. So it's just a bridge, and they use my physical body to be able to bring their vibration through into our vibration. And what happens beyond that is actually none of my business, because the more I interfere, the more they can't share, you know, the beauty of what they're coming through to share. It's not my show. It is literally about allowing and surrendering and stepping aside, and allowing them to come and do the work, and we just hold the space and hold the vibration for that to happen.
Yeah. And you might have said this when I disappeared. For me, there was kind of a bit of a process. So I would try and do guided writing for a while. And with that, like some people, when they do guided writing, it's like their body is kind of taken over and the pen's just kind of moving. For me, I would be writing what I would hear effectively. It's like it's being dictated to me. But I can tell in the words that it's not really my words that are used. Yes. It's phrased in a different way than I would use it. But I feel very present in that process, and even when the really big light language activations come through, I'm very present still in my body. But it's like, and I think it's Janine that has used this phrase, it's like I'm in the back room. Mm-hmm. So I'm still very present in what's going on at the time and observing it and being like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm doing that. Oh, I'm saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can't always remember at the end of it what's been said, but I can take myself back there quite often and restore the memory of it.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Is that similar to you, or are you? How does it feel when it's coming through?
Okay. So it's a bit different because the very first time they came through, I was sitting in bed and I had my laptop, and literally the energy came through, and it was like my eyes were closed. It was like lead, and I was aware that my hands were moving, but I had no control. So I have no control over the body, and when I opened my eyes, there was a message there for me. So that's how they started coming through. And now it's a case of I go into like a very deep trance, and I can get there a lot quicker than I used to. And I do not have a body, so I don't feel my body at all. And any movements, I've seen myself. I don't like to watch myself when I'm channeling, but I have sneaked a few peeks over the years, and it's almost sort of like Thunderbird, because I don't have a body. I literally don't have a physical body. All I am is the energy in that moment. And while I'm aware of how the energy feels in that moment, it is only that moment. There's no memory at all when I come back of what has actually happened. And yeah, so it's quite deep, and I just go into it and allow, and I come back out of it, and everyone else knows what's happened except me. and that's the way it's always been. It's always been like that. So I completely lose a sense of having a body. I've still got Sally. She's over, like you say, in the back room somewhere, but this is what is here. And sometimes they open my eyes when I'm channeling, and people feel like they're being pulled into like a tunnel, or they've seen light codes, or they've seen lights around me, or emanating from within me. And it's because it's not me, you know. I am gone. I'm completely gone. And that's why I say I'm an incorporating channel, because they fully use my body and my voice. They use all of me, and I don't have control. I could stop it, or I can stop it if I want to, but they run it. And yeah, it was pretty freaky to start with, but now it's just normal. It really is normal. And I don't hear anything either. So if they're speaking, there's no words. It just comes. And I know the word that is being spoken in that moment, but I have no awareness of the sentence or the meaning within that sentence. So again, it's just coming through, and I just let it happen. Yeah.
Wow. So you were already channeling energy you were a Reiki master by that time?
Yes, yeah.
So you were used to bringing the energy through, yes, but just not to that.
Not to that extent, maybe, yeah, or that frequency of energy, for sure. Yeah. So,
I'm just gonna check if this.
Oh, we're having fun today with tech, aren't we?
What was that for timing?
Oh, I love it.
All right, turn that off. It's probably telling me that I've been in a car accident. I don't get phone calls, like nobody really knows my number, but the only people that ring, are trying to sell words.
Yeah.
All right. And were you still in Scotland when all this started happening?
I was actually in Brazil when it started happening. I lived in Brazil for 8 years in Rio de Janeiro. And I was actually part of a channeling psychic healing circle there, so which was run by a completely incorporated master. So that was sort of like my channeling school, and that's where things started to happen. But I actually, when I left Brazil and I came back to Scotland, and I turned my back on the channeling a couple of times, just because it was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? And also there was fear around it, of what people would think and how they would react, and it was all very raw at that time, and I was sort of feeling my way through it as well. So I did turn my back on it, and it wasn't until 2013-ish that I opened up to it again and allowed it to start coming through again.
And did it feel different in that time?
Yes, because I was in a different place.
Yeah,
because I was ready and I wasn't afraid of it anymore, and I wasn't around the people that had so much judgment around it as well. So I was in this beautiful safe space, beautiful time in my life, where it was welcomed, and it was beautiful, actually, to allow it to come back and to allow it to develop and to just go with it.
And were you just so I'm clear on this, you were already in the channeling group before it started, or you met them afterwards?
No, I was in the group beforehand, but I used to go. I didn't participate so much in it in the very beginning. I was in Brazil for like 8 years, but the last couple of years, I thought, no, I really want to be doing this work. So I started actually working as one of the healers there.
Yeah.
So absolutely, there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes without me knowing at that time. And then when I left Brazil, it actually started magnifying, because of my personal circumstances were a lot easier for me to open up as well. So.
And do you feel the energy of land?
The energy of
the land?
Oh,
yeah. The reason I ask that is I'm curious about Brazil, because Brazil seems, it feels to me, I've never been, but it feels like a real strong energy hotspot.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of kind of awakening energy there in Brazil.
I loved it. I remember the first time I went there was with the airlines, and I remember the first time I was in Rio, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. I am home. And I was just so in love with the landscape, with the people, with the energy, the vibrancy, the sort of crazy, wild vibe that was underneath. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And, I ended up living there, for 8 years. And it absolutely broke my heart to leave, because I was so connected to the land. And I always said, I'm never going to find anywhere that I connect with as much as I did in Rio. And I honestly never believed it. And amazingly, I have. I've found home up here in these Spanish mountains. And it is the same type of energy. It's crazy. It is the same fiery, powerful, grounding, expansive energy that's got that vibe underneath, that just like, whoa, it really wakes you up, but it also really grounds you and opens your heart, because you just look at the mountains around you and you're just like, wow, this is incredible. So definitely the universe has brought me back to my home for now in these mountains. It's always about the mountains.
And do you do work on the land as well?
I do. I go out drumming. Yeah, I go out drumming, and even just sitting on the land. There's just up at the end of our track, or further up the track, there's a place where you can sit that overlooks reservoirs that towards the coast. And I've got a couple of sitting places there. And just sitting there and allowing the land to speak, and just absorbing the energy and giving love back and appreciation back. And yeah, I can sit out in nature for hours. I don't need to see people at all.
Yeah.
I'm very much a nature girl.
Tell me about it. I can.
Yeah.
quite happy to just get up, have a breakfast, make a picnic, and then, you know, come back when it's dark. And I'm loving the long days at the moment, so I can do that. And connecting with everything, with the trees, with the plants, with the birds, and everything just seems so much more communicative and clear because the veil seems to be so much thinner. And yeah, if I see any creatures, if any creatures come to me, then I'm just delighted with that.
Yes.
So for me, living in Australia, there was always something. You know, there's so many skinks, the little lizards. There's so many amazing birds, and just the variety. There's always something around. You know, pelicans. I remember sitting on the beach, and these pelicans are so beautiful, and they're so tall, and their legs, like their legs are chunky, and they've got these huge eyes, and obviously the long beak as well. And they're kind of beyond a bird. They're almost like a little human because they're so big. And this one was kind of coming up to me on the beach, and they've got at the end of the beak, they've got like it looks like almost like a tooth that comes out. It's quite sharp. And I was sitting down, so we were about the same height, and I was kind of like, oh, I feel a bit weird now. I'm not sure. I think you're being friendly. I think you're just coming up to say hello, but I'm not sure what you do with that spike on your. And yeah, so for me, it's, as you know, I met a deer yesterday. I met a young stag, and that just blew me away, because I think the most special animals for me here have to be the deer, because they're so big and they're so gentle.
Yes.
And you receive energy from them, you know, when you make that eye-to-eye contact, and you know, you're connected at the heart, you're totally receiving energy from them. Yeah, and I do a lot of work on the land as well, so I drum with my feet, I guess, quite often, but I'll bring through light language activations, and it's like I weave as well. So there's a lot of kind of, you know, hand movements, and dance as well. Like I actually dance the codes in sometimes. Well, always really. And yeah, the light language, and I don't always know what I've done. I don't always ask, really. I just know that I'm bringing a different frequency through and creating a web of energy, and that's what I'm there to do. So you drum when you're there, and are you feeling the energy of the land, and knowing that something needs, because sometimes it's a matter of clearing space as well, but sometimes it's not, it's just bringing new frequencies in. How does that work for you?
I take myself out of the equation and out of the what needs done, and what I think needs done, or what I feel. I don't go there at all, and I just go into my little trance, and actually the drum just plays itself. So, and I just go off, and the drum goes off, and my eyes are closed most of the time when I'm drumming, and then the drumming stops, and I come back, and that's it. So I'm really passionate about not attaching meaning to it, because how do we know? Our little tiny minds, how can we know what we're actually doing? But if we're responding to the energy and responding to the land, then it's in alignment with what is needed, but we don't need to understand what it is or put a label on it. But there is a real freedom. My goodness, the freedom through the drum, and when the light language comes through with the drum, it's much more well, loud for a start, but it's magnified and animated, because you've got the shamanic Mother Earth grounding side, but you've got the galactic vibrations coming through too, and it's all meeting through the drum and through the voice. So yeah, for me it's just freedom and expression, but also I know there's stuff going on that I haven't got a clue about, and I'm cool with that. Handing over.
Yeah, absolutely. And just being in a total position of trust, because you can feel the energy, you can feel the power of it. And it's like you're creating a little portal.
Yes. Yeah.
You can feel the strength of the energy around you, the power of it. And it's so strong as well. And I love just to sit in that afterwards and just be like, I don't know what that was, but it feels really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. Just being in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love it.
So light language, tell me about your light language experience.
Okay. So it first came through, it was only last year that the light language started coming through.
Yeah.
And I'd always sort of, I knew what light language was and I dipped in and out of it, but it hadn't really called to me back then. And then I was in a breathwork session with Martin McNichol, and it was one of the Native American incredible tunes that he was playing through the breathwork, and all of a sudden this stuff started coming out of me. And you know what it's like sometimes in your head, you're going, what the hell is that, what's happening? And so you've got two dimensions going on inside of you. And I allowed it, and I thought, oh Christ, okay, this is interesting. And then I just allowed it to come through as and when after that. And again, there's no attachment to what it's actually doing, but I do feel it really, because we can't understand it, it keeps us in that place of receiving and being open to the energetic shifts and vibrations and frequencies. So it gets us out of our heads, keeps us out of our heads, and allows that energy to really shift what needs to be shifted in our body.
Yeah.
So, and when I share the light language, it comes through in sort of like small bursts, and it doesn't go on for ages, but it's small bursts because it's quite intense. And then you can feel the difference after the light language. You can feel things sort of moving a little bit and shifting before the next burst comes through.
Yeah.
So again, it was just a lesson of surrendering and allowing.
And are you always already in that trance space when the light language starts to come through, or does it sometimes come through and you're not as deep in the trance?
I can do it, or I do allow it to come through when I'm not as in deep in the trance. But there is something really beautiful about being completely out of it, especially if I do like one-to-ones or group work. I'm gone, and it's the star beings, running the show. But yes, I can share it when I'm in a lighter trance. But there's always a little bit of Sally going, there's always still some sort of little hesitancy, or there's some humanness there in the background.
And would you like to share some?
I can share some.
Or whatever you feel, whether you want to, I'll leave this to your discretion, whether it's light language or whether it's channeling or if it's both, really whatever is.
Well, I can take us into our hearts and share some light language, because I would prefer it, like, for the spoken to come through. I really do go into deep in that.
Yeah.
And that can be just a bit boring for everyone to watch. So we can so we can do a little bit of, I can call in the energy of the star beings, and so I'll just take us into the energy. There'll be just a little bit of silence, and then the light language will come through.
Shall I mute?
Leave the blackbird with us.
Yeah.
We've got, you probably can't hear it, but we've got the bee eaters flying around above. I can hear them chirping away. They tend to come in the evenings. So we can be accompanied by the birds. Okay, let me just have a quick drink.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. So if you want to get yourself comfortable, get settled, and just take your body into a position where you can completely let go and relax, allowing your eyes to close, And just taking a long conscious breath deep into your center, deep into your heart. And as you release your breath, just letting your shoulders drop. And allow yourself to drop into the space of love, of peace, of presence. And just allow yourself to sink even deeper into the chair or the floor, the bed. Feel that support holding you. And acknowledge this Mother Earth holding you in her heart. Encouraging you to completely let go. Just take your awareness to your heart and just breathe light into your heart. And as you release your breath, see the light spreading through every muscle, every bone, every cell. Every part of your body and being becoming infused with light, with love, with peace. And just allow your heart to continue to expand, to soften, to open, and for your light to become brighter and stronger. The limits of your body fade away, and your light radiates out as far and as wide as you wish, reuniting and merging with the love of Source. And as we drop deeper into our hearts, we open to love from beyond the stars, to the love beyond words, and to the experience of all that we are beyond our human presence. I'm just going to step aside for a couple of moments of peace, of quiet, before the light language comes through. Te no mo yarana no mo kitita yarana no mo kitita magi yarana no mo kitita pakata no magi no yarana no mo kitita pakata no pakita pakata 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 no mo kitita pakata 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 no mo kitita yarana no mo kitita no mo kitita pakata yarana no mo kitita pakata 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 no mo kitita pakata 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 no ma takana yarana no mo kitita pakata no yarana no mo kitita pakata pakata pakata. Tenga no mo rana no mayara no makit kita paket kita pangan no paket kita paket maket kita bayaran no maket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita paket kita. Tenga no mo yara no maket kita maket kita paket nani no maket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket na. Tenga no maya no maket kita ya maket kita no maket kita paket kita paket kita maket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket no yara no maket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita paket kita kata yara no maket kita paket kita paket kita. Just allowing yourself to rest, to absorb, and to be, knowing that you're held in love. You are seen, you are heard, you are known. And you are love manifest upon earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. take a deep breath in. Feel yourself coming back into your body. Opening your eyes when you're ready, and to share love with the world and to see the world through love.
That was beautiful. I can hear the birds as well. Yeah, I think I'm being asked to contribute some codes as well. It's really hard for me to open my eyes, and I'm like, do you want me to say something? They're like, yes, please. So feeling our awareness in our heart space. And breathing deeply and bringing our awareness back to our heart space in love and gratitude. And if our eyes are closed, opening them when we're ready.
How cool was that? That was beautiful.
That was a really nice combination, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt really good. Thank you, Denise. Thank you.
And thank you all.
Yeah.
Oh, that was lovely. Don't know where the blackbird's gone. I think we've sent him to sleep. Okay. Ooh. So, just checking if there's anything I need to attend to on the messages. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Denise. It's been lovely.
Yeah,
Really lovely.
It's just flown by. Oh, I did want to ask you about the dolphins in Mozambique as well.
Yes.
Have you got time to share about those?
Of course, yes. Yes, co-hosting Divine Connection, which is a wild dolphin swim retreat in Mozambique in November. And of course, you know, we're not going to ignore what's going on in the world. So, but everything at the moment is still on track. We're very much seeing ourselves there in November. And that is a week with myself, Martin McNichol, and my beautiful friend Courtney Ward, who hosts us in Mozambique, and she's the wild dolphin swim facilitator. And I've been running retreats with her for a few years now. And yeah, we're going to be bringing through, well, we spend the mornings in the ocean with the dolphins. It's completely wild. There's nothing man-made about this experience at all. We are out on the ocean, and it's up to the dolphins whether they interact with us. It's all on nature's terms and conditions and on the dolphins' choice. And it is incredible to swim with wild dolphins. That's all I can say. So we spend our mornings in the ocean. And then the afternoons and evenings will be a combination of Martin and myself sharing channeling work or breath work or drumming or whatever takes us in the moment for the group. And Courtney is also a beautiful intuitive musician, and she takes us on sound journeys with drums, didgeridoo, flutes, singing bowls. She's absolutely incredible. Her voice as well, she uses as a channel. So that's it's a week-long retreat, and that's in November. So I'm very excited about that. And like I say, we're within the flow of how things are moving due to what's going on in the world at the moment. But at the moment, everything's on track. So yeah, thank you for asking about that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. And I don't know the lady that you mentioned, but Martin's energy, I know, and yeah, that's a beautiful combination as well. You and him together. That's
yes,
yeah, that's amazing.
We have a very, very strong spiritual connection, and certainly when our energies come together with channeling or in any sort of work, it's wow, it's special. I feel very, very blessed to be sharing this experience with him. Very blessed.
And the dolphins must love it as well, you know, because apart from the fact that they are so giving with their energy, they must just love to receive as well.
Yeah, they do. And you know, with Courtney's been connected with these pods of dolphins for it's almost 20 years now. She's been there, so she has a very strong connection. So we know her. It doesn't mean, you know, she doesn't call them in, you know, but they know her energy and her presence. So we're very blessed to be sort of guided in the ocean and taken care of by her. And yes, they come incredibly close sometimes. And it's a no touch policy. Yeah. But they will come and interact with you. And I've had an incredible swim where it was just like this one dance spiraling around with the dolphin. And you can feel their sonar and their clicks move through you. You can feel that vibration move through you in the ocean.
This is quite close to shore then. You go into the shore. Yeah.
Yes, literally the dolphins are usually found just back from where the waves break. Mm-hmm. So it's not, I mean, it's the ocean, but you're not going miles out. Yeah. You know, we're just behind the breaking waves. So maybe 50, oh God, I can never remember, 15 meters? No, that sounds an awful lot. No, it's less, but it's, yes. So you can see the bottom. You can see the bottom. And the ocean in Mozambique is a really delightful 24 degrees on average. Even if it's raining or cloudy, you get into the ocean and it's like, oh, that's lovely.
But and how are the waves? Are they fairly small waves? Or are they like?
Well, coming onto shore, no, they are quite large. But once you're over the breakers, no, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Yeah. And we work with really experienced skippers and boat crew as well. So, you know, if the swell is too big, we don't go out.
So you get a boat and then get out of the boat and swim.
Yes.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always found it really challenging to get past the big waves in Australia. Like I just, not very good at diving in and getting my head underwater. I always have to like make myself do that.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time, somewhere near Christmas, it might have even been Christmas Day, seeing the fin, first of all, being like, oh, is that a shark? No. Definitely a dolphin. Yeah, such a beautiful experience.
It's very special. And really, you know, even if somebody if they're not that comfortable swimming or they're not a strong swimmer, you know, we have the boat crew there And we've also got flotation aids, and all you need to do is put the mask and snorkel on and just put your face in the water. That you can have the most amazing experiences. We've had, you know, people that are nervous in the water, and you can still have amazing experiences. So you don't have to dive down or anything like that. We're on the surface, connecting with them from the surface.
Amazing. And the frequencies that the dolphins emit as well, like even if you're nervous, I'm sure that their loving energy would soon calm you down anyway.
Yes. Yeah, there's one lady that's coming with us in November who's been twice before with me and Courtney, and there was one experience where the dolphins were moving quite quickly, so the group was trying to move with them, and she was a little bit behind, and this dolphin came to her and stayed with her. So they are, I mean, they're completely wild, but they're so aware and so connected with where we're at as well. And, you know, Courtney encourages us to sort of like sing and make noises under the water, because they love that. They absolutely love that singing and that connection. Of course, they can feel that vibration through the water. So it's very interactive, and it's so moving and uplifting and exhilarating, and like, it's very special indeed.
Amazing. Yes. I shall, I'm making a mental note of that. Let's see if we can manifest that one. That would be incredible.
Fabulous. We'll see you in November then. And so it is done. Is
there anything else that you would like to share about, anything about your work that you don't feel you've mentioned that you'd like to, or how people can get hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm never comfortable plugging, but if anybody would like to know more, you can just come onto my website. It's channelinglove.com, or just reach out on Facebook. My personal page is open to the public, so you can always reach me there, or through email, or through the website. Yeah, I would love to hear from you.
Your page, then is it easier to follow you than friend you?
I don't know, actually. You can do whatever you like. I've got plenty of space for more friends, or you can follow me as well. I do have a biz page, but I'm just ridiculously bad at keeping it up. But I'm really enjoying using my personal page at the moment to connect with people, and just really sort of share and be present there.
Amazing. This hour has gone way too quickly.
It's fast, wasn't it? Very fast.
And even though I was gone for a little while, well done in that. You kept it together. Well done.
Sort of. We'll see.
At first I was like, oh, she's frozen. I was like, oh, it's me that's frozen. It's rare that my internet goes down, but recently it has been doing some funny things, and I do think it's just the energy. It's when it gets really strong.
Yes, these things happen. It's a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you to everybody who's watching us live, or who will catch this on the replay or on YouTube. Do you have a YouTube?
Yes, I do. I do, and I've got quite a lot on it actually. I've been building it up. So there are channelings there. There's drumming, light language, fully incorporated channelings with the speaking, and me and my musings and my sharings. So, and lots of interviews as well. So yes, there is. Yeah, it's under Sally Claridge.
Right, lovely, thank you. And mine is Inner Peace with Denise. And this should be up later. If not today, it'll be soon. Anything else I need to say? Just a big thank you to you, Sally, for being here. We will do this again.
Oh, it's been lovely, Denise. I've really loved it, even when you abandoned ship. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's been great.
Absolute pleasure. Yeah. And yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop the live in just a second. I need to put my glasses on. Just doesn't work without it. I've been trying to do exercises, but it's not
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Good love.
Thank you.
Our hearts to yours, and we will see you soon.